Ladies and gentlemen, if I can have everybody please take their seats. I need like a glass. If everyone can please take their seats. I need a glass. A little glass of water and a clink. Oh, almost, but I need it up here. If you pass me the water and the knife, I could just clink it a little bit. Hi, Lynn. Do you want me to clink the glass up here? I'm like blinded from you. Maybe I can just get the glass. All right, we're going to get this started. Please excuse that. I'm originally from New York, so we try to get things done. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2024 Mayor Summit Against Anti-Semitism. This event is brought to you by the Combat Antisemitism Movement in partnership with our host, the City of Beverly Hills, and Mayor Lester Friedman. I'm Jackie Karsh. Oh, we'll clap for that. I'm Jackie Karsh, a Los Angeles-based multimedia journalist, and I'll be your host for the evening. It is my honor to welcome you to sunny Southern California. Representatives from over 200 cities across North America have gathered here for this summit. I just want to say that again, over 200 cities. Over the next 2 days, we'll explore shared challenges and best strategies to combat rising anti-Semitism. Jewish communities today find themselves targeted, not just in distant places, but in the public spaces we all share, from City Hall to college campuses. But this summit is your opportunity to punch back, not with fists because you're elected officials, but with resolve and collaboration. As mayors and municipal leaders, you're in a unique position to tackle this rising hate. You can lead boldly and ensure that no one is left to face hatred alone. It's here at this summit where you'll learn simple tools and connect with a strong support network to fight anti-Semitism wherever it appears. This summit, led by the Combat Antisemitism Movement, builds on previous summits held in Fort Lauderdale, Dortmund, Athens, and Frankfurt. A huge thank you goes to the City of Beverly Hills for hosting this year's gathering. This city, Beverly Hills, proves that good governance and good taste aren't mutually exclusive. CAM is also thankful for its organizing partners and valued supporters who help make this summit possible. Before we begin, please rise as Cantor Lizzie Weiss of Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills leads us in the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts hearts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
I'm very happy I stepped away from the microphone. Thank you, Cantor Weiss. I'd now like to welcome Rabbi Jonathan Aaron of Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills to deliver the invocation.
Mishaberach Avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all of us here who have come to honor our country, honor the 200 cities represented here, and most of all, to honor Beverly Hills of California. May you, those men and women of whom I speak, who every day strive to make our lives better, be filled with the passion for justice and the courage to face the challenges of anti-Semitism all over the world. May we all come together tonight and over the next few days to make all of our cities a shining example of brotherhood and sisterhood, of law and freedom. And may the men and women who I stand before today, who make our country better, be blessed with discernment and wisdom. May you feel safe and blessed. May you feel luminous and loved. And may you feel joyous and whole. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Aaron. Please welcome the Honorable Dean Trantalis, Mayor of Fort Lauderdale and last year's Summit Chairman, to share a few opening remarks.
Good evening, everybody. So Sasha says we're going to have a polite little cocktail party to set things off, and do you mind saying a few words to our people? Well, imagine what has developed here tonight. I'm so proud to be able to come before you and say a few introductory remarks for our session this particular week. So distinguished guests, my fellow mayors and friends, it's a profound honor to stand before you tonight and to welcome you to the 2024 North American Mayors Summit Against Anti-Semitism here in Beverly Hills, our beautiful city. This marks the third summit organized by the Combat Antisemitism Movement, having first attended the convening one in Athens, Greece 2 years ago. As I look across this room filled with municipal leaders, community advocates, and experts dedicated to combating anti-Semitism, I am deeply inspired by the collective resolve and commitment that we all share. Last year, I had the privilege of hosting this summit in the city of Fort Lauderdale, bringing together representatives from over 50 cities across the continent. At that time, it was the largest gathering of its kind, and together we engaged in hours of meaningful dialogue, developed locally led initiatives, and forged lasting partnerships in order to confront one of humanity's oldest and most precious forms of hatred. Reflecting on the 2023 summit, we witnessed dynamic discussion on pivotal themes from expert voices. We explored the importance of International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism, a vital tool for identifying contemporary manifestations of this hatred. We explored taking advantage of the transformative and wide-ranging powers of the media, sports, and pop culture to amplify messages of unity and inclusion. And we underscored the essential role of community-driven collaboration in bridging divides and fostering mutual understanding. We were joined by luminaries such as Stephen Benjamin from the White House Office of Public Engagement, CNN host Van Jones, cherished Holocaust survivors and family members of hostages taken on October 7th. Those whose testimonies reminded us why this work is so crucial. And their voices were filled with courage and resilience, compelling us to act, not just as policymakers, but as human beings committed to justice and dignity for all. A cornerstone of last year's summit was the updating of the Combat Antisemitism Movement's 10-step municipal action plan. This document provides cities with tools and resources to proactively address hate and promote inclusivity. I am proud to share that Fort Lauderdale has since embraced many of those recommendations, reaffirming our commitment to fostering a city where every city feels safe. At the heart of our efforts in Fort Lauderdale is a deep and enduring partnership with our Jewish community. Earlier this year, my city celebrated the dedication of a new street named Chabad Drive. Yes, you must visit it someday. It's on Fort Lauderdale Beach, honoring decades of service by Chabad Lubavitch in building bridges of love and understanding among neighbors of all faiths. Each year, we proudly host a grand menorah lighting on Fort Lauderdale Beach, a symbol of resilience, light, and unity that stands in one of the city's most iconic locations. Additionally, my office annually issues proclamation recognizing May as Jewish American Heritage Month, further celebrating the rich contributions of our Jewish neighbors. Our Fort Lauderdale Police Department also plays an indispensable role in ensuring the safety and security of our Jewish neighbors. The FLPD has fostered a strong collaborative relationship with synagogues and Jewish centers throughout the city. Open lines of communication allow our Jewish community leaders to contact officers directly with any concerns, ensuring prompt responses and a sense of reassurance during sensitive times. In cases of concern, crime, or threat, our threat response unit immediately responds, providing swift action and direct communication with Jewish community leaders. This approach not only addresses immediate risks, but also reinforces the trust and solidarity that bind our community together. FLPD actively participates in an Anti-Defamation League consortia, gaining valuable insights, sharing strategies with other law enforcement agencies, and remaining informed about emerging challenges within the Jewish community. Our partnership with Secure Community Network, SCN, has also been instrumental for our officers, providing timely intelligence and expertise to enhance proactive measures. The city is also a proud member of the countywide Hate Crimes Task Force, led by the state attorney, which equips officers and government professionals with the tools needed to combat hate crimes and address their broader societal impact. Collaboration with organizations like the Jewish Federation also ensures our efforts are comprehensive, compassionate, and far-reaching. So as we gather here tonight, we are reminded of the sobering realities that make this work so urgent. The rise of anti-Semitic incidents worldwide, coupled with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, underscores the need for action. The horrors of October 7, 2023, and the challenges that have since followed have left a mark on all of us that we will carry for the rest of our lives. Our hearts remain with the victims, their families, and all of those affected. So tonight, we renew our prayers for peace and for the safe return of the hostages taken during the crisis, right? So what is this summit about? This summit offers a unique and crucial opportunity to deepen our understanding, to learn from one another, and to recommit to combating anti-Semitism and hatred in all of its forms. Over the next few days, we will engage with leading voices and explore topics such as leveraging education to counter hate, fostering interfaith dialogue, and harnessing technology to amplify messages of tolerance and inclusion. I am confident that the conversations of this week will empower us as local leaders to create further meaningful changes in our communities. So as we will look ahead, I want to express my profound gratitude to the City of Beverly Hills and Mayor Lester Friedman for hosting this year's summit. Under your stewardship, this gathering is poised to be a tremendous success. Together, we share a responsibility that anti-Semitism finds no foothold in our communities. If it starts with anti-Semitism, then where or when will it end? Tonight, I'm reminded of the words of Pastor Martin Niemöller and his immortal post-World War II poem, and I take a passage out of that. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out, because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So we must remain steadfast in our resolve to protect the vulnerable, educate the uninformed, and build society rooted in respect, dignity, and justice. So thank you all. I look forward to embarking on this week with all of you, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, with determination and hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Trantalis, for your steadfast commitment to combating anti-Semitism. Now, anybody knows the City of Beverly Hills knows that Beverly Hills has always supported its Jewish community. But more recently, it has set the standard for action and leadership. From memorials to resolutions to swift action against hate, it's clear that this city doesn't just talk about values, it lives them every day. It's my honor to welcome the Beverly Hills Mayor and Summit Chair Lester Friedman, along with Vice Mayor Sharona Nazarian and City Council members John Mirisch and Mary Wells and Craig Corman, who unfortunately is ill and can't be with us tonight.
So for those of you who don't know, the City of Beverly Hills is not a direct elect mayor system. We are a team. These are my colleagues, council members, soon-to-be mayors, past mayors, and we are here as a group to welcome you here. So my dear friends, on behalf of my colleagues on the City Council, elected officials past and present, faith leaders, and the entire community, welcome to Beverly Hills, California. It's incredible to see hundreds of you here tonight from all over America and the world as we stand up together against anti-Semitism. I want to thank Combat Antisemitism Movement and former Mayor Beverly Hills Mayor Lily Bosse for their work to bring the conference here to Beverly Hills. Former Mayor Bosse led our city through some of its most challenging periods of anti-Semitism, and we are forever grateful for her work and the relationships built with the Combat Antisemitism Movement along the way. We are fortunate enough to be in one of the world's most beautiful and visited cities, but even Beverly Hills isn't immune from the evils of anti-Semitism. Over the last few years, Beverly Hills itself has been the target of anti-Semitic rhetoric and hate. We've seen acts of graffiti at our synagogues and leaflets left at our front doors blaming Jewish people for the world's problems. but we have not wavered in our commitment to Israel and the Jewish people. In fact, we've made it stronger. A few years ago, the Beverly Hills City Council decided to adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism. We've lit our city hall to celebrate Israel's independence. We formed a sister city relationship with Herzliya, Israel. We've adopted a resolution calling upon colleges and universities to condemn the anti-Semitic behavior of their students and to take further action to prevent anti-Semitic behavior on their campuses. And then, October 7 changed all of our worlds again. Following that tragic day, we hosted a Shabbat table in front of our city hall. We hosted family members of the hostages, hosted a temporary Nova Music Festival exhibition, and with the Consulate General of Israel in Los Angeles, we presented a temporary art display as a memorial for the victims of the attack. The art installation includes 1,400 flags, with each flag representing victims or hostages from over 30 nations whose lives were lost in the attack. We have brought this display back during this conference, and you will be visiting that site tomorrow. We know it will be a powerful experience. Most recently, our Deputy Fire Chief, Al Poirier, along with 3 of our city firefighters, traveled to Israel in order to experience firsthand the impact the events that occurred on October 7th had. And finally, we are in the process of creating a permanent October 7 memorial here in the city of Beverly Hills. And we know we are not alone. Many of your cities have also made a commitment, taken a stand, and we all must continue to work together. In the next 2 days, there will be critical conversations with amazing panelists and speakers, and ongoing opportunities to connect for meaningful change from City Hall and beyond. As elected officials, you have the ability to create and inspire change. We can do it together. We look forward to an enriching conference and spending time with new friends. Welcome to our beautiful city. I'd now like to introduce Vice Mayor Sharona Nazarian.
Thank you, Mayor Friedman. Good evening and welcome to Beverly Hills. I am so excited to see you all tonight, but before we start, I just want to take a very quick moment to wish my son, Jonah, a happy birthday. He's a UCLA student, and he's been a big voice with regard to fighting anti-Semitism. So my name is Sharona Nazarian, and it's my honor to serve as the Vice Mayor for the City of Beverly Hills. And our city has always been a strong voice against hate, discrimination, and anti-Semitism. I'm also proud to be the first Iranian-American woman elected to the Beverly Hills City Council. As someone who came to our great nation after being exiled due to religious persecution, I deeply understand the impact of hate. I came to America seeking freedom, the freedom to live in unity, to build a life without fear, and to feel protected. But today, that sense of safety is increasingly uncertain. We all know that the #1 job of elected officials is to keep their constituents safe. This is why gatherings like this are essential and serve as a call to action for us all. The values of unity, justice, and the conviction that hate has no home in any of our cities or any of our communities. I want to thank Adam Barron, the founder of Combat Antisemitism Movement, for his vision and for co-hosting this incredible conference with Beverly Hills. My friends, prepare to be moved and inspired. And to each of you here today, over 200 courageous mayors from across our great nation and beyond, I salute you. I salute your strength and your dedication. Your presence today sends a powerful message. You are not bystanders. You are leaders committed to safeguarding your communities and being a voice against the rising tide of hate and anti-Semitism. And your courage is so inspiring. Since the October 7th massacre, a day that redefines so much for so many, our city has been a voice with clarity, purpose, and strength. Because these moments, my friends, define what side of history we choose to stand on. Because hate has no boundaries. Once it starts, it spreads like wildfire. And it was already mentioned, but in the paraphrased words of Pastor Martin Niemöller, first, they came for those who were different, and I stayed silent because I was not like them. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not look, and I looked away because I was not a Jew. And when they came for me, no one was left to stand by my side. Now is your time to speak out. We cannot wait until it is too late. Anti-Semitism is not just a Jewish issue. It's a social issue, a moral issue, and above all, a fight for humanity. History has shown us that what starts as violence against Jews never ends with Jews. Just recently, a synagogue was burned down with people in it in Australia. A rabbi was murdered in the UAE. Today, as leaders, we must speak out, not just for those directly targeted, but for the dignity and for the safety of humanity. Together, our united voice is stronger than hate. And let this gathering ignite a flame of courage, of hope and action, a light that shines far beyond these walls. Let it be said of us, in this room filled with all of you courageous leaders, that when the world needed voices of justice, we spoke. When others hesitated, we led. And when history asked, where did you stand? We stood on the right side of compassion and action. Together we can and we will protect and defend and ensure that our communities are a place of safety and inclusivity for everyone, regardless of race, religion, or cultural background. May our unity today remind the world that love outlasts hate and inspires us to create a brighter and more unified future. Thank you so much. And now it's my honor to introduce Councilmember John Marish.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. My name is John Marish of the Beverly Hills City Council, where I've served since 2009, including 3 terms as mayor. I'm currently a garden variety council member, and I also am the Chief Policy Officer of ICANN, the Israeli-American Civic Action Network. Welcome to Beverly Hills for the Mayor's Summit Against Anti-Semitism, but let's face it, we might just as well call it this year the Mayor and Council Members Summit Against Anti-Zionism. Zionism is the Jewish people's right of self-determination in our ancestral homeland. The State of Israel represents the ultimate act of decolonization. Israel and the Jewish people are inseparable. A strong Israel also means Jews will never again have to rely upon the kindness of strangers for our own safety and security. Here's a simple thought experiment. Just ask yourself, would the Holocaust have taken place if Israel had existed in the 1930s as a sovereign Jewish country? The clear answer is no. The Holocaust could never have taken place if Israel had existed then. So those who don't think that Israel should exist now just want dead Jews. For all the meaning that has been emptied of the word these days, they just want the genocide of Jews. Jew hatred, also known as anti-Semitism, is a pathological disease, and it infects people from all sides of the political spectrum. Those with the disease will always try to harm Jews. But just look at recent events in the Mideast, and you can see the importance of a strong Israel also for the United States of America. Beverly Hills was the first city in the U.S. to adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, the IRA working definition of anti-Semitism. Some 80 cities have followed suit, but it isn't enough. We need more of you to join us. I'm grateful to the Combat Antisemitism Movement for making IRA a priority. IRA does not ban criticism of Israel or the Israeli government, as some opponents would disingenuously contend. But it does say that those who demonize and try to delegitimize Israel and use double standards in discussing the world's only Jewish state are anti-Semites, or in less pseudoscientific terms, they're Jew-hating racists. We can no longer allow Jew haters to hide their Jew hatred behind anti-Zionism at a time when there is effectively no daylight between the two, when they are for all intents and purposes perfectly concentric circles. And we must also call out those countries who sponsor and fund terrorism against Israel and who propagandize against Israel, countries who use their wealth to poison our children and students against Israel and Jews. Qatar, I'm talking about you. Today of all days is Qatar National Day. As the Qatari royal family and their guests earlier today were feasting on caviar, lobster, and champagne at the Qatar-owned Maybourne Hotel right down the street, our hostages were wasting away in Gaza tunnels paid for by Qatari cash. All our hostages would be free right now if Qatar simply ordered its terrorism subsidiary, Hamas, to release them. So I will say to you now what I said at last night's City Council meeting and what I say at every City Council meeting. We must designate Qatar as the state sponsor of terrorism it is. We should sanction Qatar, freeze its assets, and use them to compensate the victims of Qatar-funded terrorism. And we should ask the State Department to expel the Qatari consulate a half a block away in that direction down Rodeo from Beverly Hills. Qatar, the jig is up. Terror regimes and anti-Semites are not welcome in Beverly Hills. But the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement and all of you, ladies and gentlemen, are most welcome in our beloved hometown, one of the only Jewish majority cities outside of Israel, one of the only cities in the U.S. to have a street named for Theodore Herzl, and soon to be one of the only cities in the U.S. with an October 7th Memorial Square and a permanent October 7th Memorial. Hopefully in the future, when you think of Beverly Hills, you won't just think of Rodeo Drive, Pretty Woman, or swimming pools and movie stars. You will think of a community that is steeped in Jewish pride and that recognizes the best way to react to the pathological disease of anti-Semitism is with that Jewish pride. Thank you for being here. Am Yisrael Chai, and it is now my honor to introduce my colleague, Council Member Mary Wells.
Thank you, Councilmember John Marish. Well, good evening to all of our mayors and our esteemed guests. I am Beverly Hills City Council Member Mary Wells, and thank you. I am also a former governing school board member of the Beverly Hills Unified School District and former board president. I want to welcome all of you to Beverly Hills. We are honored to have been selected as the host city of this conference, and I really want to thank our Mayor, Lester Friedman, for your leadership and for bringing this conference to Beverly Hills. We couldn't be more thrilled about it. Although I was not born Jewish, I have lived in a Jewish home with my husband and my children for more than 15 years. I have experienced anti-Semitic hate firsthand, and I've shared the fear of that threat to my family, to my friends, and to Jews in our neighborhood and in our city, and the horrors of it throughout the world, including the most recent October 7th. Our city and our school district have a proud legacy of taking a strong stand against anti-Semitism. In addition to the things that Mayor Friedman mentioned, when I was on the school board after October 7th, we immediately came out with a resolution in support of Israel and against anti-Semitism. I feel very privileged to live in a city where we feel safe to have a voice and that we are supported. And as a result, I also feel an incredible sense of responsibility to use that voice. This week, I look forward to sharing with you all that we have done as a city and in our school district, as well as learning from all of you new ways that we can use to continue this fight. It is widely said that anti-Semitism is the oldest hatred having existed for thousands of years, and it's not likely to go away anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that our work is diminished in any way. In fact, with the rise of anti-Semitism, our work is even more critical and urgent. To me, the ongoing fight for us is to prevent the anti-Semitic hate of the extremists from becoming mainstream. As mayors and elected officials in communities around the country, we must work without limits to speak out against hate at every opportunity, to guarantee that no form of this hate will be tolerated in our cities, and to ensure that our children are educated about the evils of anti-Semitism and how to fight it in their schools and universities. Rest assured that I will continue this fight while I am in office, as well as after my time in public service. I understand why it is vital to stamp it out when cowards perpetuate it, and it's critical to teach our children why those efforts are so important and how to support them in their lifelong fight against it. I want to thank all of you very much, and I look forward to spending the next few days with you as we get to know each other and continue to find ways to continue this fight. Thank you.
Thank you all, and we all look forward to seeing you. Please come up to us during the next couple of days. We look forward to it, and have a good dinner. Thank you.
Thank you to Mayor Friedman and the whole City Council and municipal staff for their gracious hospitality. Next, we get to welcome the CEO of Combat Antisemitism Movement, Mr. Sasha Reutman, who traveled all the way from Tel Aviv to be with us. Please welcome Sasha.
Wow. Can you hear me? Shalom. Good evening, everyone. Wow, this is incredible. Mayor of Beverly Hills, Lester Friedman, Vice Mayor Sharona Nazarian, all the council members, thank you for welcoming us in this beautiful city. Consul General of Israel, Israel Bachar, thank you. All leaders of the Jewish community of Beverly Hills, Los Angeles and Southern California, thank you for hosting us in this region. Thank you very much. But most important, mayors and municipal leaders from across the United States, we haven't mentioned yet Canada, welcome to the 2024 Summit Against Anti-Semitism. Welcome all. Tonight, in this room, we have representatives of over 200 cities, all united in one cause, protecting their Jewish communities and removing anti-Semitism from our streets. I can't go over all the names of the city here, it will take a lot of time, but we're going to mention a few states with representatives. The great state of California, you have cities here? Woo! We have cities from Georgia, Virginia, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, Kansas, Missouri, New Mexico, Utah, Oregon, just to name a few. Who did I miss? Which state I miss? Whoa! Thank you all, that's amazing. Think about it for a second. But my friends, it's been a tough year for the Jewish people. We witnessed our synagogue attacked, schools and community centers under threats. Our elderly have been assaulted, students intimidated, kids harassed. And it's happening every single day in America. We are 80 years after the Holocaust. And here we are again. We witness a level of anti-Semitic incidents we haven't seen since the Second World War. I was myself born in Belgium. My grandparents were Holocaust survivors. They saw firsthand what happens when hatred turns into action. They saw the consequences of unchecked anti-Semitism. This year, my life-surviving grandfather passed away. He was my rock. He survived everything: the Holocaust, 5 cancer, COVID-19 at the age of 90, and he left this world worried about its future. He was worried that we couldn't keep the promise the world made to him, to every single Holocaust survivor, and to 6 million Jews that perished in the Holocaust by the Nazis and their allies, the promise of never again. He passed away when anti-Semitism was rising, when Israel, the only Jewish state in this world, was under attack on all its borders. At that time, 131 hostages were still in Gaza, in captivity. 100 are still there today. He received daily updates from his great-grandchildren in Israel, my children. They were running to the bomb shelters at the age of 5, Ari, the age of 3, Daniela, and Jonathan, 1 month old, running to the bomb shelters. My grandfather didn't survive the Holocaust to see his great-grandchildren hiding in bomb shelters. He also saw my sister in Belgium afraid of wearing Jewish symbols in the streets. And worst of all, he witnessed the grave of my great-grandmother desecrated. Even in death, Jews are not spared being victims of hatred. I grieve deeply my great-grandfather's loss. And I feel ashamed that we, the collective we, all of us, failed to keep our promise of never again. Because it's happening to me, to his family, to Jews around the world. But today, that ends. In this room, with these incredible groups of mayor and municipal leaders, we are here to make history. We are here to push back, to say loud and clear, never again. And I want to hear to this room to say it, never again. Thank you. My grandfather survived the Holocaust for this moment, to see leaders like you ready to stand up for what is right. History has shown us, and it's been said before, that anti-Semitism begins with Jews, but never ends with Jews. Today, Jews once again are in the front line, in America, in Europe, under assault from extremists, from the left, from the right, and radical Islamism. In Israel, we have under threat from Iran's proxies. I used to be a proud Belgian Jew, very proud. I love my country, my culture, the food. For those who have been in Belgium, we have good food. But during the Second Intifada, 24 years ago, in 2000, I was not even 16 when my friends in my school asked me as a Belgian Jew why I was committing a genocide. Not only is a genocide an absurd accusation, I was with my friend in the classroom, so I couldn't commit a genocide, but I was forced to be first a Jew and secondly a Belgian. In my mind, I was always a Belgian Jew. But today, I'm just a proud Jew. Yes. Later, and I think I never shared this story publicly, I was attacked by a group of young Muslims in the streets of Brussels because I was wearing a Tel Aviv t-shirt in honor and in support of those that were in the bombing in Tel Aviv by the Palestinian terrorists. And what happened to me, I was attacked, and I was almost lynched in the street of Brussels. It happened 24 years ago. When I started preparing this remark, I realized that nothing is new. Nothing. It starts a long time ago, only for me, 24 years ago. But people were not listening to us then, and some are not listening to us again today. And what did I do to deserve this? Nothing. Just like the Jews in Amsterdam a month ago, in New York every day, in Los Angeles, in Berlin, in Paris, or in Tel Aviv, in Israel, we are targeted only simply because we are Jewish. But now, 80 years after the Holocaust, we have learned we will not stay silent, we will win with your support. So I want to say something that on behalf of the anti-Semitism movement, our partners in this room, all those that are supporting this summit, and all of you that came here, the entire Jewish community of America and of the world, we want to thank you for your commitment to be here today, for your courage and for your determination. Thank you. Thank you. So I want to wish all a very productive and meaningful summit. We do not take for granted that you decide to invest your time at the end of the year when you have so many things to do to spend your time with us. And it is important for us because we feel under threat and we know that when we see this room full of mayors or municipal leaders, we're going to make it. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sasha, for your dedicated leadership. Now, please welcome Adam Barron, one of the founders of the Combat Antisemitism Movement, to share a few words and present the Civic Leadership Award.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. On behalf of myself, my wife Ellen, Combat Antisemitism Movement, welcome to all of you. We're so happy that you're here, and thank you for being here. People often ask me when they see that I'm traveling to Athens, Greece, and over to Washington and to Beverly Hills, and they find out that I'm involved with the Combat Antisemitism Movement. They ask me, well, why are you doing this? They ask me 3 questions when they find this out. They ask me why. And sometimes I ask myself this. When I started this, I never realized it would turn out to be something like this. So tonight is incredible for me just to see this room in particular. But there are lots of reasons why I started this. My parents experienced anti-Semitism when I was young, but I never experienced it for 50 years of my life here in America, the greatest country on earth, religious liberty and all of it. We've been a wonderful country, and we still are. But it was 5, 10, 15 years ago that I started to see, and others did also, that we weren't addressing all the forms of anti-Semitism. And that was really the impetus that got me involved. And then it really happened at my kids' private school in Wichita, Kansas. of all places, we had an experience like you're seeing on some of the public schools around the country and in college campuses around the country. Something similar to that happened at my own kid's school in a community that's pretty evangelical, very pro-Israel, but yet there was something that went on, and it really got me upset and lit a fire under me and said, I have to get involved also, like many of you do as well. So that got me started 6 years ago, and I never could imagine that it would turn out to be something like this. I'm very proud of the work we do with partnerships, with our grassroots effort, our research, and these kinds of programs that we do with civic leaders. So thank you all for being here. And a lot of the credit goes to Sasha Reutman. Let's give him a great big hand. Sasha's built an incredible team. He works night and day. I only work day and part of the night. He works night and day on this issue, and I just couldn't have done this without him. I have the highest esteem and respect for him. The second question they ask me is, well, how's it going? And oftentimes, I have to say to myself, well, it's not horrible. We're not experiencing the Holocaust. This isn't sort of like the Roman Inquisition, and it's not the Spanish Inquisition or the Romans or the Holocaust. So in that regard, I guess it's not horrible. We are in America. We're in a free country. But it's not great either. As you know, you wouldn't be here if things were going better than they are. In our research, before 10/7, we were worried, and we were tracking incidences, and we still do around the world. On the K through 20 campuses, we were tracking 3, incidents a week. After 10/7, we were tracking 18 incidents a week. That was the last school year. This year, we're tracking 12 to 13 incidents a week. So it's not great. 500-600%, increase on our campuses after 10/7. 3.5 million Jews, we just recently did a survey, 3.5 million Jews have personally been affected by anti-Semitism in their own lives, which is greater than half of our community in this country. So things aren't great, but hopefully they'll get better. And I think we're seeing some of the early signs of that. People are more aware of the problem, people are taking action, and we're hoping that the ship is turning, in a better direction. In Israel, things aren't horrible. We have a country, like everyone has said, a refuge for people who are now persecuted around the country, especially in some countries in Europe right now. But of course, things aren't great either. It's a tough neighborhood over there in Israel, as we all know. We're all watching in front of our eyes, a daily, transformation of the Middle East. And Israel's hopefully doing better, and things are going in the right direction, just like they're going better here. So that's how things are going. And then the third question they asked me, well, what can I do? And I would say for most people, the first thing you can do is learn, just like you're going to do here these next few days. Maybe you've read stories and heard about the fact that the Jews are the canary in the coal mine. Every speaker here tonight has referenced this. When things are happening to the Jews, it's a representation of ills in society in general, and we all know some of those things because we see with the social media and the algorithms and all of that, and the supposedly big, sides in our country that maybe aren't as bad as the media makes them out to be. Whenever there's sort of disruption in a community and Jews get targeted, it's an evidence that something is going on and you need to pay attention. So learn about the Middle East. It's not easy to understand the problem, but the more you learn, the better you'll be able to advocate. Just like you need to learn more about anti-Semitism, there's a lot of aspects to it. The second thing I say is speak out. No problem ever got solved by staying to yourself. Now is the moment. Your Jewish community is under attack. And now is the time we need you. We need our friends. You're our friends. Now's the time to speak out. And finally, take action. And you're in a unique position. Not everyone is in the position that you are to take action. And you're going to learn here over the next couple of days what it means to take action, and we hope that you will. So we appreciate your being here. Thank you very much. Things are going to get better, and we're going to work on it and make it so. Thank you very much. It's your turn, Bruce. Come on up. It's my honor right now to call up to the stage Bruce Blakeman, the county executive from Nassau County, to receive our Civic Leadership Award. Thank you. Thank you very much. Vanna. Thank you. Bruce, you have been an incredible friend to our community. Bruce, you represent Nassau County, which has a significant Jewish population, over 200,000 people. I was looking it up. I think it's not maybe one of the top 6 or 7 communities in the country for Jews. Maybe it's a little less than that. But in that target, you're the 3rd largest county in New York. Actually, the largest county in the country is LA County for Jews, so in case you're wondering. But Bruce, you've been an incredible ally of ours. You've been a warrior, and we just can't thank you enough for everything that you've done, for the Jewish community. We first met you on a trip to Israel, as you know, where you brought over 12 of your county executive peers to learn about the problems going on in Israel, and then when you came back, you were a strong advocate for what you learned. You did pass and sign the IRA definition of anti-Semitism. You can maybe speak about this more, but you passed and signed a mask mandate in Nassau County, which is very important. When the president of the University of Hofstra University was being weak when it came to anti-Semitism on the campus, you made a statement about that and actually called for her resignation for allowing so much anti-Semitism on their campus. We joined hands with you at the rally for the Jewish people on the Washington Mall with 300,000 people, and you were there proud and strong. Bruce, there aren't many leaders like you around the country. You stand up for our people. You know that keeping the Jewish community safe is keeping all of your communities safe. We just couldn't be more proud of you and thankful for everything you've done and to be a partner of yours. So, Bruce, I'd like to award you with the Civic Leadership Award presented to Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, 2024. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Adam. Adam and Ellen Barron, thank you so much for your generosity, your courage. It's amazing what you've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time, both here, around the world, and in Israel. Our hearts go out to you, and I want you to know that we're incredibly proud, Ellen, that you grew up in Nassau County, that your family is still in Nassau County, and hopefully someday we'll get you back in Nassau County. So thank you, Adam and Ellen. First of all, more importantly than anything else, I want to thank Hashem for giving me the strength to pursue my civic duty as a leader in Nassau County. I want to thank the committee and all of my colleagues that are here today from around the country for the courage and the strength to stand with us to combat anti-Semitism. I want to thank Mayor Lester Friedman and the City Council of Beverly Hills for hosting us. What a cool place to have a seminar. Thank you so much, Mayor and the City Council. And thank you to your Beverly Hills Police Department for keeping us safe tonight. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my soul partner, my wife, Judge Sigal Blakeman, who is a Zionist and a lover of the Jewish people and a fighter just like I am. And I also want to thank Mayor Sam Nemayas from the Village of Lawrence in Nassau County and his wife Monica, Marty Olner and his wife who are here tonight from Nassau County, Jack Libbert, Nassau County Supreme Court Justice, who came here this evening. And I'd like to just take a moment out to have a moment of silence. About 2 weeks ago, Ambassador David Friedman, who's a resident of Nassau County, and I met, as we did many times, with the family of Omer Nutra. Omer was a Nassau County resident. He did a gap year in Israel and decided to join his buddies in the IDF, becoming a tank commander. He was taken hostage on October 7th. His family, for the last 14 months, went from pillar to post to trying to have their son released, only to find out last week that he was murdered on October 7th. But they continue the fight to bring our hostages home. Nassau County is larger than 10 states in population. Our gross domestic product is larger than 146 nations in the United Nations. But we are home to almost 300,000 people who identify themselves as being Jewish. We know what anti-Semitism is. We've seen it firsthand. But I'm happy to report that U.S. News and World Report just named Nassau County the safest county in America. I'd like to thank our Nassau County Police Department for that. And Niche Magazine said that we are the best place to live in New York State, and that's because we respect our police, we respect law and order, and we respect the rule of law. Let me give you an example. 17 miles away from Nassau County, we saw paid thugs, paid for by the Communist Party, the same thugs that were at BLM, the same thugs that were in Occupy Wall Street, the same thugs from Antifa, take over roadways and bridges and occupy buildings in New York City and harass and commit acts of violence against Jewish students. Those same thugs came to Nassau County. When they came, we met them with an army of police officers, and we told them, you want to exercise your right to free speech? You do it over there. You stay on the sidewalk. If you step off the sidewalk, our police officers will politely tell you to get back on it. And if you don't, you're going to be arrested. They are not occupying buildings in Nassau County, blocking bridges, taking over airports, harassing Jewish people, and committing acts of violence and hate against Jewish people. And that's what we have to do. It's very, very poignant that this is the Combat Antisemitism Movement that we are here to support tonight. We have to fight against anti-Semitism each and every day and not allow it to rear its ugly head anywhere in America. And that's why I am so proud that over 200 cities are represented here, because you, my colleagues in government, are the ones who are courageous, who have a moral compass and know the difference between right and wrong, and know that people who protest in support of murderers, rapists, and baby killers are evil, and they have to be stopped. In conclusion, people sometimes ask me why I do what I do. I want to just tell you a very brief story. Like many of you, I had a grandfather that was very special to me. My grandfather, Jesse Blakeman, was the kindest, nicest man. He was the prototypical grandfather, always taking us places, always playing games with us. He always wore a sport coat. He was old world, but always had candy in his pockets for us. And my grandfather was nothing but about fun and love of his grandchildren. But one day when I was 9 years old, my grandfather took me into the kitchen of our home. And he sat me down and he said, I want to have a serious conversation with you, Bruce. And I said, Grandpa, we've never had a serious conversation. He goes, no, this is important. He said, I want you to make a promise to me. You got to promise me 2 things. I said, what's that, Grandpa? He said, first of all, always remember you're an American. And second of all, always remember you're a Jew. I have tried to conduct my life that way. That is why I'm here this evening. I want to say Toda Rabbah for this very, very distinguished award. May God bless you all. May God bless the state of Israel. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Congratulations again to County Executive Blakeman. I am also from Nassau County, so woo! I am now going to invite you to enjoy your next course, and we'll see you in a little bit.